Now that we have talked about how we can use JavaScript in the browser, this is an addition to this course if you want to check it out. We can take these things that we have learned from the browser to our terminal, or the command line interface. Node.js is actually the JavaScript V8 engine that Chromium-based browsers like Chrome use. Now, one of the things that are different when running a script in Node.js is that we don't need a browser or need a browser to run the script. You just need to run the script using the node command. So let's go back to our IDE that we have set up, and let's say we close it. We close the Python that we have set, and actually we create a new file called index.js and clear this out. If I do this console.log hello world here, and we don't need, of course, the browser, what we can do is have Node installed in your computer and run the index.js. As you can see, that is how we are able to run the console here and out. Now the difference is in the script, there's no XML HTTP request, there's no window. The global variable, if we look into this, is just an empty empty object. So that means there's no window, there's no fetch. We don't have like a fetch here. As you can see, if we run this one, there's an error because there's no fetch command, and so on and so forth. So that is the difference for this one. But one of the things that we can do here is to modularize the whole setup. So let's say we have module here, and we have, let's say, an index.js here, or let's say rename this as module 1. What we can do is x module.exports is equals to the, let's say, function call for this one, and let's say console.log hello world. If you want to use it, you would have it as, let's say, call hello world, and we use the keyword require and use the relative path. We call hello world here, and if we run, we are able to run the whole function inside module 1, which is this one. So let's say from module 1. That's how you are able to make it modularized in this way. The other thing that we can do in Node.js is there are pre-built modules like fs, where we can, let's say, I would add some form of let's say text.txt here. So let's put in my script here so that we see what I'm trying to say, which I always go over. Not using the script that I have written. And what we can do is we can read file. So let's use txt utf-8, which is the encoding. If we do this and node index, we are able to print out the item. If we have, let's say, const hello world is equals to hello world const, and then we do fs write file sync test.txt, and then we put in the text itself and utf-8. If we do this, there's the test.txt which has the hello world as well. So those are the things that we can do using the pre-built fs, but this is file sync, so that means it's not good if you are reading and writing large files. So the best way is of course using fs read file only, and we use this the same way, but instead of like the callback for usually the callback would always have an error in the data. If there's an error, let's print it out. Console dot error false error. So we return from this one and do this because I'm using so as you can see here, if there's low file, so let's say I did this, it will return an error called there's no existing error. There's no existing file for this one. So this is the same way with write file. Instead of like using the write file sync, write file would be test.txt, and then hello world, and if you have like utf-8, and of course the function doesn't have it's only the error, and if there's an error, of course, because text one doesn't show 1, 2, and if we check test.txt, there's the one that we are sort of seeing. Now, of course, FS is part of Node.js already, and other things like stream and utils. But if you want to have, like, let's say a library that needs to be installed, we would need to put in first a package.json. So we type npm init, and we just put in keywords here. I want to have MIT, and yes, and there's a package.json. This is something that is used for managing your installed modules, and if like I say npm save, let's say for us, for later on we would need fastify. If I do an npm I, meaning npm install fastify, you'll need an internet. Oops, this is fastify. You'll need an internet for this one to install the package itself, and you'll see below let's wait it out. Once it's installed, so you'll see below that the dependencies is installed, and there's like a node modules that has installed the fastify dependency. If we want to put it on a dev dependency, that means it will not be installed once it runs on production. You can put it on a dev dependency, like let's say nodemon, which allows us to run the system if there are changes on the code. So let's try it out. Again, it puts on the dev dependency. Now, if you are using the course pack, Most of the needed dependencies for the next set of exercises are already installed, so you don't need to worry about installing them. And we are done.